These volunteers are on a mission to get African American voters to the polls in Baltimore, Maryland. They're canvassing this neighborhood and others across Maryland during the early voting period, ahead of the actual election day.
We're actually encouraging people to get out and vote now. So if he's in town, he can take advantage of early voting today. How are you? I'm Delegate Haynes. How are you doing?
Keith Haynes is running for his third term as a Maryland state lawmaker. Besides campaigning, he wants people to get excited about the election.
During the primary year election a few weeks ago, we had one of the lowest voter turnouts that we have had in the state of Maryland. And we're trying to boost those numbers up in the general election.
Organizers say these get-out-the-vote drives are important because studies indicate that turnout among black voters for midterm elections is often a third lower than in presidential election years. Melanie Campbell is president of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation.
I think it takes all of us getting involved, and it takes the voter, it takes the community realizing this is a very important election, and staying at home is not a good option.
Don't ever let anybody tell you this fight isn't worth it.
As head of the party, President Barack Obama is trying to help Democrats win on Election Day and prevent opposition Republicans from capturing enough seats to take control of Congress.
If black voters turn out, the Democrats' prospects are going to be a lot better than if African Americans do not turn out.
David Basitis is an analyst with the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies in Washington. He says high black voter turnout in key races, especially in southern states, could make it difficult for Republicans to win a majority of seats needed to regain control of Congress.
When there's little or no gap between black or white turnout, it usually bodes well for the Democratic Party. When there is a large gap between black and white turnout, it usually bodes well for the Republican Party.
In order to counter Republican challenges, the Democrats are spending more than $2 million on mobilizing black voters across the country. Keith Haynes says he's targeting those who haven't voted in several years.
We want to try to get those individuals who are registered and have a history of voting but who may have not voted in the last few elections to energize them, to get that energy behind them to go out and cast their vote. But we're emphasizing that their vote does count.
The Census Bureau says black voter turnout across the country was slightly larger than white turnout for the first time ever in 2008. Fearing a sharp drop-off this year, these volunteers say they will keep up their efforts to get blacks to the polls.
Push early voting for us.
Right, I was just screaming out the window.
Vote, vote, vote. All right.
Chris Simpkins, VOA News, Baltimore, Maryland.